Hi, everyone. There's nothing like live broadcasting, right? To those of you who are on my Facebook page live with me, you know that I just posted a little warning that I dropped my camera. And I'm going to blame it on the fact that I had a new setup and it's not on a stable surface. So I was reaching for something across my desk and everything came crashing down, including my camera that's on my phone that you see, like you can see my desktop with and all that. Anyways, it came crashing down and it's like 2 minutes before I was going to be on time and everything. I have everything set up. I'm so excited because I invited new stampers to come join us this time. I did a little post, a share to my personal page asking if anybody has never done paper crafting. I would love it if they would join in because I'm going to show some very basic stuff. I'm not going to pull out the big shot or the stamparatus or tools like that that a lot of us avid crafters know about. So it's basic stuff. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Monique and Pauline. Hello. It's good to see your names pop through. Mary Jo, happy spring to you too. Is it really the first day of spring today? Yay! Well, then it's really official because our snow is melting, which is great. And I just saw grass today on our lawn. I'm so excited because we have been dumped on this winter. Okay, so anyways, thank you all for your good mornings. Hi, Michael. It's good to see you all. Yay, thank you so much for joining in. I might have a totally different setup next time because this is not a very stable surface. And my stand that I have my camera on, I think I had it set up too high because it was bent in half. So I thought I had actually broken my stand. What I did is I just unscrewed it with the wrench in these 10 minutes of haste. And put it down a little bit, so hopefully it's a little bit more stable. But I have like weights on top of the stand now so that it does not tip over. It's crazy. It's crazy what we do in the background that you guys don't even know about. But that's why I'm late. So happy first day of spring to you too, Dawn. And good afternoon. Wow, it's still 11 a.m. here. So yeah, I suppose it could be afternoon to you, Tammy. All right. So I'm going to feature the animal stamp sets and punches that coordinate with them. I've had quite a few people that I know that have had animals pass away. Somebody in my team, her cat passed away a few weeks ago, and my brother just had one of his cats pass away, their family. And so I have had sympathy for cats cards on my mind lately. And I've been working with the silhouette idea where you punch through paper and then you have black paper behind it to make it, so you just see the silhouette of the animal. So we're gonna do a card like that. Hi everyone, thank you for chiming in and saying hello. Keep on talking to me, tell me where you're from. I love it when you post messages during the live. If you ask a question, I may not see it because I'm not very good at seeing the posts while I am demonstrating. But please post them and I'll try to answer afterwards. Last week we had my son behind me and he was very good about making sure that I knew about any questions that were coming through. But hello to all of you. And if you share this broadcast either during the live or after the live, and then you mention that you shared it, you can get entered into the prize drawings. So please make sure that you are commenting in some way. Nebraska is flooded. Yes, I heard about that. Gosh, we're having some crazy moving into spring kind of weather here because we've had so much snow. I think all our snow is draining into Nebraska. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. Yeah, it's crazy what we're hearing on the news. Okay, so let me share with you the stamp set. So let's go ahead and look at the desktop here. I have to remember to move my arm in a different direction for touching my buttons. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Oops, hang on. All right, these are the stamp sets that I'm going to be showing you. Well, actually, we're only going to use one. We're going to use this one, the Happy Tails, even though the card that I'm going to make uses the cat punch that coordinates with this set. So for any of you beginning stampers, this is the way our stamp sets come. They come in these fun little containers, and you can see all the images on the front. And then on the inside, you have these wonderful, these are called photopolymer stamps, and you just peel them off and you stick them onto a block, a clear block, and then you can ink this up and stamp it down onto your cardstock. I'm going to peel that one off because we're going to play around with the dog stamp real quick. We're going to put that on a D-size block, and then let's put some spots on there. Gosh, there's a couple of choices here. I think I'll pick this one because I've used it before, and I think I know how to line it up. Now, when you have a real stretchy one like this, what's best to do is to set it on your work surface and then pick it up with your clear block. That way you're not putting it on there real stretched out. So we're going to use the stamps from the dog set, but let me also share with you this kitty stamp, because even though we're not going to use the stamps from this set, we are using the punch, and you might fall in love with this stamp set as well. So what are the punches? These are the punches right here. This one's called the Dog Builder Punch, and this one's called the Cat Punch. And the reason why this is a builder punch is because it has more than one punch within, so you can do the dog and the heart when you punch it out. Okay, hey Kathy, I love it. She goes, it's so fun to be retired because then I can watch your broadcast. Yes, I do it during the day, and I'm so sorry. It works for me that way. So those of you who work during the day and you have to catch these afterwards, it's just I have to do it when my kids aren't around. They're preteens or teenagers, I should call them now, because they're 12 and 13, and they make noise. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and use a couple stamps here. Again, we're just playing around with the stamps and the punches right now. So this is a D-size block. It's a great basic block to get. If you have never stamped before, this stamp set or this stamp block works for most of the photopolymer or clear mount or cling stamps. Now, if you're choosing a wood mount stamp set, then it already comes with wooden blocks that you mount your stamps onto permanently, so you don't have to worry about remounting every single time. But this is nice for storage because you peel them off, you put them in, and they're in thinner containers, and they're less expensive. All right, let's grab some white cardstock here. This is just some of our white. I don't know why I brought that in. That's our cleaner. Okay, so we're going to just ink up our stamp, and this is one of our cloth type of pads. This is a tuxedo black memento pad. So when you ink up a stamp with one of these kinds of ink pads, you can pound away. You can actually press pretty hard onto the stamp. So we'll go ahead and stamp that cat down. Just want to put even pressure on it and don't rock. So I saw someone's message come through, and it was like it was yelling. It was excited. Thank you so much for being excited. So now we're going to ink up the stamp, the stamp that looks like the inside of the kitty or the fur, and we're going to stamp that right on top of this cat. Now, forgive me, I have to lean in just a little bit so I can see over the top. Hopefully we're getting it right where we need it. And then you press down, and you can see through these stamps. That's another advantage to the photopolymer. Gotta love photopolymer. And now we have a cat that's more realistic looking. It's got that fun little design on it. Let's do the dog really quick, and then we'll punch them out. Okay? So if you are a demonstrator or a more avid crafter, I hope that you stick around anyways. I am doing some basics today, but it's always fun to see the basics again, and sometimes the card idea is one that will inspire you. Now this one, you kind of have to move it around to see how it works, and it goes like this. Okay, it's 3 spots, so we have kind of a, I probably should have done this in like a darker color. That's okay. So there is our doggy. I don't know where my camera is. There it is. There's our dog. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. Oh, when I was inking up with this, I barely had to tap. This is one of our firm foam pads. These are the kind that Stampin' Up! Manufacturers themselves, the classic Stampin' pads, and they're really, really squishy, so you barely have to tap to get the ink on them. And a little tip that I learned from a fellow demonstrator is just to press like that to open them up. So if you're having trouble with these pads, just press on the top like that, and it'll lift this part up. You also have a little tab there. all you have to do is just lift it like a compact and swing it around and slide it through like that. So thank you, Connie Stewart, for that tip. Connie Stewart shared that idea. Her husband came up with that, I guess. So, all right, we're going to set those stamps aside because we're not going to use the actual cat or dog stamps. But I wanted you to see how awesome they are, because if you love these stamp images, then you may want to get both sets and both punches. Now, the dog stamp set and punch are both new, and so you can buy them together as a bundle. But the cat punch has been around for a while, so you have to buy the cat punch separately from the stamp set, which the stamp set is in the spring catalog too. That's a new one, but the cat punch is not new. So you can see I punched out a heart and I punched out the dog. So we have two little things from that one. So there we have some cute little animals that you can make with those stamp sets and punches. Now that you've seen the basics of those, we're going to just put away the dog punch. We're going to keep the cat punch in and the ink pad, and we're going to bring in the 1-inch circle punch. So these punches, well, actually, no, we're bringing the dog punch back in. I made a mistake. We're going to use the heart from it. So we're going to need the 3 punches, and then we're going to need the dog stamp set. So now I'm going to move to my computer because I want to share with you the supplies that you're going to need for, let me move my hand this way. For that, let's see here. I think this is the one I tap. Hang on a minute. It's not regenerating. Oh no. Come on, I'm not on that. It's looking at something else on my computer right now. Hopefully it'll, let's just take it off for a minute. Oh no. Okay, technical difficulties again. Boy, making that, stand of mine falling did not help. Okay, I have to tap a couple buttons here. I'm going to take that off. Okay. Ooh, it's yelling at me. I don't know if I'll be able to share supplies today, you guys. I may not be able to. I'm so sorry. You might have to just visit my blog. Oh no, wait, it's coming up now. Yay! Everybody sing. Here it comes. Okay, here we go. There we go. So, these are the supplies. Oh, my head's in the way. Will get me out of there. These are the supplies that you're going to need to make the card that I'm going to share with you today. Now, I have 2 other versions to share afterwards, so you'll want to stick around to see those, and then they kind of give you some variations of the same card. So these supplies for the 2 other cards will kind of have to adjust depending on what cards you like the most. But for the most part, we have the Whisper White thick cardstock, and that's the base of our card. Then we're going to use some designer paper, which you can get for free. The basic black cardstock, Calypso Coral, those are our 2 colors. And then Calypso Coral is the ribbon that matches it. Now, do you notice that I've got in there here, I'm doing some adjusting on my screen over here. I've got in there some prices, some US prices that I've added in there. And the reason why I did that is, again, because we have new paper crafters that I invited to watch this today. And I want to make sure that you realize that it is an investment to get into paper crafting, but once you have a lot of these things, you have them for good. I don't have to buy another trimmer. I might have to buy blade refills, but my scissors, I have 1 scissors that I keep for a while. The snail, as you can see, that's a type of adhesive that you can get refills for, so you don't have to buy a new snail every time. So there's a lot of things that once you get, you don't have to purchase again. Those of you that are newer, so you've been crafting already, maybe you have a lot of this stuff, but you just want to get a few more items to do this card. So I'm sharing prices not to scare you off, but to give you an idea of what it costs for these products, and that in the long run, you have a huge investment. You can make a whole bunch of these cards with the amount of cardstock that you get, and that sort of thing. So it's a great thing. Plus, this free celebration pick here, that's with a $50 order. So if you decide that you really like this card and you only need about $50 worth of this stuff, you can get the paper, the designer paper, for free. Okay, so I'm going to move off of this screen and I'm going to come back to our desktop here. Let me adjust my computer. I might have to go back to my other arrangement. I really like looking at the clean side of my room though, you guys. The other side of my room was always so dirty. I mean, not dirty, but it was just hard to keep organized looking. So yeah, so I'm hoping that you guys are okay if I keep this here, but I just have to make sure that my stand doesn't fall again. Okay, I'm gonna bring the desk back in. Here we go. Let's get started. All right, we need to have a half sheet of cardstock. So we're gonna take our thick Whisper White. This is great for card bases. And we're gonna put it into our trimmer so that it's at the halfway mark, okay? So right now, and by the way, I'm sorry if I missed any of your comments because I had messed up my camera to connect to my computer. So I got off the comment screen and now I see that you're here with me again. This is awesome. Thank you. All right, so half of 11 inches is 5.5 inches. So we're gonna take our cutting blade, our scoring blade, actually we can just kind of move that up and out of the way, but we're gonna cut the cardstock in half here. So 5.5 inches and trim. Now we're gonna rotate this 90 degrees and we're going to give it a score line. When you give it a score line, a crease down the middle, it's easier to fold it in half. So we're gonna go ahead and break those paper fibers right down the middle here. So 8.5 divided in half is 4.25. And then just run that scoring blade. Now the scoring blade on mine, I marked with the word score. You don't have to do that on yours, but this blade I have never had to replace. The cutting blades are the things that you'll replace over time. And so this here, I can always see that that's my score blade. And you'll just bend that in half. A bone folder is not a necessary tool, but it's nice to have. It gives good creases to your score lines, and our card base is ready to go. We're gonna cut the black, the Calypso, and the designer paper as well, because I wanted you to see how easy it is to prepare. So we're gonna start with the designer paper. The designer paper. I have to show you the designer paper. Okay, so this is how it comes. It comes in a package. There's 12 sheets in here, 12 by 12 sheets. It has a label on the back to tell you which coordinating colors come with it. And let me show you, my sheets are not full though, I have to warn you. I've really loved up this paper. I do not have a full sheet of everything, but this is one of the designs. Black and white on the back. Here's another one. Actually, I'll show you a couple at a time. Really pretty design. So all of the back sides of these are black and white. Very fun to work with. You can see this is the one we're gonna see on the other two cards. And then this one, I believe, yep, this is the one that we're working with. It's kind of a gingham look. So those are the designs that you get in full 12 by 12 sheets, 2 of each. So we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna cut it to 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. So I've already trimmed it in down this way at 4 inches, and now we're gonna cut it to 2 3/4 inches. And it matches my earrings that my friend Vicky gave me. Thank you, Vicky. Now we're going to take the next layer up, and this is our black, and sorry, black does stuff to the camera, doesn't it? We're going to cut this just a slight amount bigger. So we're going to make this 4 1/4, I'm sorry, 4, here, let's do this, because it's glaring, isn't it? There we go. 4 1/8 inches. Let's zoom in a bit if we can. Oops, sorry, my reach again. Okay, so you see that? Now it's at 4 1/8 inches. And we're gonna slice it there. And then we're gonna turn it and we're gonna slice it 1/8 bigger than we did the other direction. Oops, sorry. So it's at 2 7/8. It was at 2 3/4, and now we're gonna bring it to 2 7/8. Okay. I looked up and Carolyn said that hers looks like a cyclone came through it. Her craft room is what she's referring to. I'm so sorry. I try to clean up every time, but there's shelves that things just kind of accumulate on, and I don't know where to put it. The Calypso coral color now is already cut to 4 1/4 inches wide. I can show you that here. So I cut it to 4¼ inches wide. And now I'm going to cut this direction to 3 inches. So all of these pieces layer up onto each other, so they just get, you know, slightly bigger each time. So these pieces are all going to go like this on my card. Okay? But before we add them, before we add them, we're going to do something to this piece here. I'm going to show you a paper saving technique. That is to use the center of a layer. So if you know that you're going to need this accent color, but you just need a small amount, you can actually take and cut from the center of it because it's going to get covered up. So we're going to start with the dog punch and a cute little stamp from the dog set, which is a paw print. We're going to stamp it with the black, the tuxedo black ink. And I just want to make sure, I believe if I stamp it right in the middle, yeah, we should be okay. All right, so I'm going to stamp this in the middle. And now we're going to take and punch so that we have a little bit of that paw print in the heart. And you can see the edge of my cardstock right here. And we're going to go ahead and punch. So now we have a paw print onto that heart. We could use that dog for something else if we want to later. But you can see we can still cover up. We still have plenty of room to cover up what we did not need to see, right? The next stamp that we're going to use is the one that says, "So sorry for your loss." So we're going to stamp that kind of in the lower right because this punch doesn't go too far in. And now we're going to punch that out. I always use my punches upside down because then I can see where I'm punching. And that one's ready to go. So those two pieces we can use just from the piece that we already had ready to go. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and layer the black onto the Calypso Coral. This is our snail adhesive, and it's really nice. You just press and pull and lift. Okay, we're going to set that down, centered in the middle of our Calypso Coral. Okay, we have those 3 pieces ready. Now on my cards that I have finished, I did do some embossing on this background piece or the card base, but you don't need to do that. Oh good, thanks Diane. She likes the punch in the middle trick. You don't need to emboss this, but that just gives it an extra little touch. I used a tool called the Big Shot and some embossing folders that actually presses the cardstock so that it makes an impression in it. It's really pretty, but again, not needed. So I will show you basics here. So now we're going to take this punch, the cat punch, because we're making this for my brother and his family. And we're going to punch the cat out. Again, you could keep this little guy if you want to. And now we have our punched out cat from that. We're going to adhere that down using the snail adhesive again. You might want to put a little bit right in that spot too. And that's going to be put right here. By the way, this cat punch I have used with a circle of yellowish orange color. I think I used the crushed curry. So you make a circle of that and then you punch the cat out of that circle and you have a really cool Halloween card because it looks like a black cat against the moon. It's really cool. All right, so now we're going to take this piece and we're just going to add that on top here, right next to the cat. And make sure you can use the words and you can use the lines on this paper actually to make sure that it's lined up and it's not going diagonally or anything. And then I have a fun accent. Every card needs some kind of embellishment, and ribbons or rhinestones or sequins or whatever are fun to add. So I'm going to add this ribbon. This is our sheer ribbon. This is Calypso Coral. And I mentioned that you need 5 to 6 inches because if you look at that, that's quite a lot that I needed in my hands in order to tie a tiny bow. But if you have tiny hands or you don't have fingernails that get in the way, you might be able to tie a little tiny bow with a smaller amount of ribbon. It's really, you know, something that If you got the skill for it, you do. If not, cut a bigger piece beforehand. And then you just adjust it. You hold it in the middle and you kind of pull on the tails of the ribbon until you get that tiny, tiny little bow that you want. We're going to keep on going here. You take your snips and you trim it kind of at an angle, because that's a really fun look, trimming at an angle. And now we've got our bow. We could keep this as is. We wouldn't have to add a bow, but I like to fancy up my cats a little bit. You could even put like a rhinestone on there to make it look like a collar, or a little, what is it, a tag on the collar. So we're gonna just put the bow right across here as if he's got a nice pretty little collar on him. And then we're gonna put this onto our card with dimensionals. And again, if you wanted to save on money, if you're a paper crafter, you could put this directly down onto your card. But this is a fun kind of adhesive that pops up your images, makes them have a little bit more, I don't know, dimension and character to them, obviously. Let's do this first though, because what if we make a mistake? So we have some stamping to do on the inside of our card. Let's say that the inside of our card, let's go ahead and stamp that. I'm actually going to make a mistake on purpose. How does that sound? So I ink up this stamp and I stamp it down and I'm like, oh no, I made a mistake. So now you can take that inside and you could make it become the outside of your card. Okay, you have a couple chances this way. So now we're going to take and use this for the inside. We're going to ink up our stamp a little bit better by making sure we're really pounding hard. And then we're going to press it down, make sure it's nice and centered. I hope I centered it. It's hard because I'm not seeing like directly over my desk like I normally do. And then because this is such a tiny heart, let's add that with a glue dot too, just like we did with the ribbon. And that looks just so precious with the little paw print on it. There we go. Oops, it's not centered though, hang on. Glue dots really hold on tight when they stick down, so I want to make sure I move it before. Okay, there we go. So now we can take this side, and that's where we're going to add the dimensionals, okay? So it's best to stamp first and then stick everything down. Just a rule of thumb to stick with. You only need 4 dimensionals, really. It's going to help with mailing cards. The less dimensionals you use, the less thick your cards are. And if you can kind of keep your dimensionals on the corners, you still get that lifted look, but you also have the ability to put embellishments in the center. So like this is going to give it some lift when I put it in an envelope to mail it. And if I have dimensionals right there, it's going to be not only thick from the cardstock and the dimensionals, but also the ribbon. So I'm leaving the dimensionals out of the center for that purpose. And then it sticks into our medium envelopes that you can get in our online store too, which is why I think I listed those on the supplies. But here we have the card, which is a half a sheet of cardstock folded in half, fitting into our medium envelope. Let me show you some other ones here. I think, oh, I wanted to mention one more thing. I did list on there the cleanup materials that I use for my stamps. My favorite still is and it's black, so watch out, it's going to make some, there, we'll just show a corner of it. But it's this, this little thing that opens up like that. Let's see if we can zoom out a bit here. Hang on. There we go. All right, it's still showing glare. Let's bring a stamp set over the top of it. Okay, so it's huge. It has a cleaning side and it has a drying side. So you just take and you spritz on your water or your cleaner, which is what I recommend because that helps to condition your stamps. It's just called Stamp and Mist. You spritz on one side and you can dry on the other. So this is my favorite way to clean, but we have another cleaner that's less expensive. It requires only one item and water, and it's called the Stamp and Chamois. And it comes like this. And what I do is I cut mine into smaller pieces so I can carry it around with me. But what happens is it gets stained, and if you don't clean it enough with soap and water, the ink gets on your hands. And those of you that know me know that I don't like to get messy. So I have a hard time with that cleanup technique. In fact, Vicky was with me the other day. Vicky is one of my assistants, and she was here with me. And I was working with the chamois because I had one of our tools called the Stamparatus with me, and it's a nice cleanup for the Stamparatus. Anyways, I got it in my hands and I was like, I was freaking out. I'm not good with getting dirty. So it's really easy to clean your stamps, just simple like that. You can also use a wet washcloth. Washcloths have those little fibers in them, so if you just dampen a washcloth, that helps. If you have permanent ink, you got to use more than water, so definitely get the mist after some time. Let's see the other cards that I have, okay? Let's move these out of the way. We're going to zoom in just a tad here so you can see all of them up close. So here is the one we just made. This is another version, and this is using real red cardstock and the red sheer ribbon. I think that's what it's called. Another 1/8 inch size ribbon. I used that paper from the pack, same pack, that had the butterfly outlines on it. So still using the black and white side. And on the inside I did the same thing. Now on this card, I did emboss, so I gave it a little bit of texture with the Subtles embossing folder, which you can't see. So it's like it doesn't make too much of a difference, right? You don't need the big shot yet. It's a nice tool to have, but you don't need it. And I also didn't put the sentiment on the front. Now this one I think is the one that I'm going to send my brother and his family. It's using Pool Party cardstock. This is Calypso, no, I'm blanking on the name. Not Bermuda Bay, it's the one in between, oh gosh, Coastal Cabana. Sorry you guys, a lot of you were probably thinking, I know the name, and she's just not saying it. Sorry about that. I tilted the Coastal Cabana color a little off here so it's not completely centered. I used some copper thread as an accent. Then I used this Coastal Cabana ribbon, which is another 1/8 inch ribbon that comes in a duo pack. It has Very Vanilla and Coastal Cabana in it that's lined with a little copper edging. It's called Tea Time, I think, or Tea something. See, it's not one of the supplies I used on the card today, so I didn't memorize it. But it comes in a 2-pack, and it's really pretty ribbon. So the way that I got that slightly darker designer paper here is I sponged lightly. I just used a sponge and added some Pool Party ink to that. So, and then the inside of that just has the paw, it does not have the heart. So I didn't use the dog punch on that one. But, so those are the cards. I hope that you liked them. Yay. We have some prizes to give out. I'm reading Catherine's here. Yes, the scrub does get into the grooves of your stamps. The chamois is also awesome for traveling too. So thank you for sharing that. It is nice for the Stamparatus and changing colors, but also for traveling. Thank you, you guys. Okay, so let's draw for prizes. And last week we had a broadcast that, another troubled broadcast. It had to be 2 days later. But we're going to go to the computer and we're going to find that broadcast and make sure I've got it set up here. Hang on. We had the computer. Okay, anyways, it doesn't matter. We're ready. Let's click on that. Oops, sorry. Oops, hang on. It's wanting to do something funny here. Hang on. Okay, there we go. So we're going to choose the last broadcast that we did, which was on March 15th. I made a fun fold card, and I'm going to copy the URL for that. And we're going to bring it into a program that I use called Comment Picker. So we'll just highlight that, paste it, and we're going to go ahead and click the search here and see how many people we have on this prize opportunity here. So yes, so what I do is I draw a prize from last week's broadcast this week, and then I also will draw one winner this week from this week's. So if you are watching this after the live, you can still get in on the prize drawing for this particular video that I just did, just by commenting within a week, okay? So now that we've got 188 people into the drawing for this, we're going to click the start button, and the winner from last week's is going to get the cherished, it's done! The cherished organdy ribbon that was really hard to come by during celebration. I'm just going to hold it up a little closer. It's beautiful colors. There's 5 different colors in there. Really nice stuff. So Dawn, congratulations to you. And now we're going to go ahead and take the other video that we're doing now. I'm going to refresh the page. So hopefully those of you that are with me have gotten a comment in by now. And we're going to click on the refresh button. And the winner, what's the winner going to get, Rachel? Oh my gosh, I forgot to share. I forgot to share. The first winner gets to choose because the prizes are both different this time. So let's go ahead and copy the link for that and bring that into our comment picker and click the search. I love it. You guys are saying congratulations. It's so nice. 95 of you have commented on this one. Thank you. Let's click the start button. But first, before we do it, I just want to mention that the winners can choose between one of these very, very popular packs of paper. These are 6x6 designer packs of paper. This one is the Tropical Escape. It has some beautiful, beautiful tropical leaf print type of papers in it. And this one is the Gingham Gala, which had sold out. They had to have it on back order for a while, and it's back now, but both of these are very treasured papers. So who is the lucky winner from this week? And the winner is Janet. Janet Gottschalk. Yay! Congratulations to our winners today. I am so happy. I love it when we can pick winners. Yay. Congratulations to you both. I'm so grateful that you came to join me today. If you are a beginning stamper, I'm just going to put in here a little link. I think this is the one. Yes, stampyourartout.com. That is my website /blog. So when you go there, you can click on blog. There's a button when you scroll down a little bit, there's a blog button, and you can click there and you can see all the things that I share. I usually share about 4 times a week, different paper crafting projects. In fact, this project and the video, photos of it, the measurements and everything will be shared on Saturday. And if you would like to get emails every time I share, I recommend that you click subscribe. So you just tap the home button when you get to my website, and there's a subscribe option there. When you click on subscribe, you can subscribe to my newsletter or you can subscribe to my blog posts. And if you subscribe to the blog posts, you'll get the latest news on an every other day kind of basis. Whenever there's something new, I post on my blog for sure. But 3 times a week is how often you will see me show up in your email box. If you don't want that many emails, you can always, unsubscribe, or you can just not subscribe, or you can delete them if you don't have time to read them. But that is the best way for me to share the most current news. And I encourage you to be subscribers to my blog because of that. Where did I get the frame for my paper pumpkin sampler? That is from Hobby Lobby. I caught your comment, Amy. Yay, I caught it live. That is behind me. She's mentioning that frame right up there. So yes, that was one of my alternates from last month's kit. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Lou. So yes, and I think I'm looking through my notes to see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you. I will be broadcasting next week, again on Wednesday, and that will be, I believe, the last Wednesday before celebration ends. You know what? On that note, let me just quickly go to my desktop because I want to share with you something really quick. Oops. Hang on. I hope we're still broadcasting. There was an issue. This is where you will find that paper, the free paper that's in the celebration brochure. And that is free with a $50 order. And here are the cat and dog stamps. So celebration does end of this month. So you want to make sure that you are in on that. We're going to broadcast again on March 27th. Thank you all for watching. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.